Welcome to the Gounie podcast. Interesting chats with interesting people on our very interesting Red Sea shores. On this episode, we feature Angela Ziltener, our local dolphin whisperer, marine expert, and founder of the Dolphin Watch Alliance. We also chat with the very dynamic Omar Khalifa, holder of multiple fishing world records, founder of Gounie and the Gounie Boat Show. So stick around, enjoy the chats, and don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe. All right, and action. All right, welcome to the Gounie podcast. Our guest this time around is none other than Angela Ziltener. Angela, welcome to the Gounie podcast.
Thank you very much.
Lovely to have you on the show. We start every episode with the exact same question for every guest, and we keep getting different answers from everyone. When you hear the word Gounie, what comes to Angela's mind? What do you think of when the word Gounie, is said?
I feel home actually here. I feel very comfortable here. I love it because of the Red Sea and also the people I know now. It's kind of, for me, family and friends. So having a second home as a Swiss citizen. So I'm really happy as well when I'm in Switzerland. I think about Gounie coming back, and of course I also think about Switzerland when I'm here to see there my family and friends. So it's kind of now for me kind of the same thing almost to be home here.
It's sort of a beautiful holding the stick from a very nice spot in the middle,
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Switzerland, you say. A renowned biologist, zoologist, scientific diver, and a lot of people in Gounie would say our local dolphin whisperer. When did that happen? What's the story of Angela's love of everything aquatic and her journey from Switzerland to the Red Sea? How did it happen?
Actually, I was always connected to the sea. And the sea or the water, let's say the water, was for me always like refreshing. And even when I was very young, I loved to be in the sea, swimming. Even I couldn't swim at some point. I was diving. So my mom, I can remember when I was 6 or 5, I was in a pool and was basically on the water, and then came up and she doesn't have her life jacket, or what happens? But she saw that I actually was very calm and very excited to be in the water, coming up for air, just take a breath, and then going down again. And she could see that I was moving, and even came back to the entrance. And I was super happy, and she thought, oh my God, she was very scared about me. And I felt always very safe in the water. I never had a bad experience, or that the water could be something weird, another element. So I feel also kind of home in the water, and especially now here in the Red Sea, where I'm studying the dolphins here, the marine life, and I really miss it when I'm gone for a few months even. I'm like, oh, and I'm coming back. It's really something what makes me also being alive and very happy about it, feeling comfortable in this element water.
Nice. Loving the fact that this is a comfort zone, over the water, under the water. Marine biology, is that something that you actually studied? Did you study that, or how did it come about, your love for marine biology?
I was always interested in animals in general. Like, I had this relationship to other living species, and I wanted to understand them more, and especially some animals which are highly cognitive and have highly cognitive abilities, like primates, chimpanzees, like dolphins, whales, elephants also are very intelligent. So I was like, wow, this is a creature we might understand if we are studying them deeper. And dolphins, of course, because they are in the water element, which I really loved. I was getting into dolphin studies in Wales, and I tried to do other internships all over the world. In Canada, for example, I visited other places to get more information, what it means to be a biologist. And I ended up actually studying chimpanzees as well, because of some changes.
We share almost 98% of our DNA with chimpanzees.
Yeah, they're very close. They're our next relatives. So, but they are completely different. And I was doing some experiments about problem solving in chimpanzees. How they can actually solve problem. For example, having an apparatus where they have to try to get a reward, a nut or a rape, to eat, but they have to find the way with a tool to get it out of the machine. Yeah. And I wanted to know, okay, who are the ones who are innovative, like finding the solutions, and who are the ones copying or observing, social learning, and then get the solution. So I was looking into the innovators. Is it gender-based, more females or males, or subordinates, like a ranks? Yep. Does it involve a rank, like an alpha, or a subordinated one who has to find solutions because life is really hard for them? Yep. So they might be the ones who are innovative. And also age-wise, are there the younger ones or more the adults? So I looked at different factors. And first I wanted to do that also with dolphins. But it was very complicated, of course, to do that. And then I switched it actually to chimpanzees, to primates. And then I came back again to the dolphins. And this gave me a wider angle or perspective to understand actually dolphins and marine life, because I was also in the rainforest, and I had experiences with other creatures, and then I was more open even to look into other details, which is very unique actually to observe dolphins on the water. During scuba diving, the most research is done on a boat. Okay. Because you don't have the opportunities to actually be with them for a longer time of period. Normally, whales and dolphins are very hard to approach. Yep. As a swimmer or as a diver. So you have just very short encounters with them. But here in the Red Sea, the visibility first is amazing, like sometimes 40, 50 meters. In other places, you have 1, 2, 3 meters. You don't see them at all. Then current. You have current. They are more in the open sea, so you can also not just jump in the water and go with the dolphins or whales. So you are very limited as a scientist actually to study marine life.
The temperature probably of the water here as well.
Exactly. So here the temperature is given, and the dolphins, through tourism, diving tourism, they are quite habituated as well to be quite close to divers and swimmers, because they have to come to the reefs here to rest, to sleep during the daytime. And these reefs are also kind of dive sites, snorkeling sites, so they need to adapt to these conditions. Otherwise, they need to look for other places. And of course, the dolphins were first here. And then human came and started the business. So they also had to kind of
adapt, as you mentioned.
Exactly. Otherwise, you wouldn't see them. So, they find out humans are not a threat in this way. They are curious creatures. dolphins, like here we have the Indo-Pacific bottlenose dolphin. So they are more open also to adapt.
Less intimidated by humans and by the surrounding human life around them.
Yes.
Yeah. So our activity and our actions really affects their life and their evolution. And I want to get into that detail a bit later on. But I want to circle back to Angela's story. When did you first set foot here? When did your Red Sea story and your love with the Red Sea dolphins and marine life begin?
I was during my studies in Zurich in Switzerland. I came here as a tourist in 2004.
Okay.
So I just started my biology studies, and I came here to Hurghada, and my first dive was with wild Indo-Pacific bottlenose dolphins.
Your first ever dive, boom.
It was not my first dive, but my first dive here in the Red Sea.
Yep.
I was in Australia
Yep.
to learn how to dive, and I was there for a longer time period. And then after that, I came here for diving particularly. And I knew already, because of a friend of mine, he told me already that here you would have the chance to see dolphins. And I was already, oh wow, this would be amazing to see them on the water. Because before, as I told you, I also was in Canada and I was in other places. I only have seen them topside.
Yeah.
And once I had another dive in the Maldives before, actually an intro dive, and then I had bottlenose dolphins on my first dive. And this was the sign for me I'm on the right track.
There's something between me and the dolphins. There's something going on.
Exactly. Yeah. But then this never happened again. And then I came here to the Red Sea. And also the first dive, it was in Gifton Island.
Yeah.
I had the dolphins for 1 hour. With my friend, I took my friend with me, and I was amazed. And inner feeling said, hey, when you are finishing your studies, you come here and set up your own dolphin project. And like 8 years, almost 8 years, 2004, 6 years later, I came back, but I came back repeatedly. Like I came back every year for 1 week.
Yeah.
As a tourist, as a diver.
Yeah.
And for me, it was very clear, hey, there is no scientists here. And the sea here is full of dolphins.
And the conditions are excellent for research.
The conditions are amazing. Yeah. So, okay, let's do it.
Nice.
And so I came here 2009. I decided actually to start the project.
The Dolphin Watch Alliance.
The Dolphin Watch Alliance itself, it's an NGO, an organization, which I created or founded with other colleagues 2 years later.
Okay.
Even. So first I had to find out, okay, what's happening here? So I started the Dolphin Watch research project here with also colleagues living here in Hurghada, with the help of a diving center. I also was guiding. I did my dive master and scientific diving, and I learned quite a lot of tools. And then I also saw the problem of a lack of awareness, education, because for me it was very clear from the beginning, all these dolphins, they actually come here during the day to sleep, to rest. And I also saw 2010, the business started to be more like dolphin swimming,
the dolphin
and tours. Yeah. And I was kind of, oh my God, I need to inform them, because I saw how the boats were actually going into sleeping dolphins, drop the people on top of them. there was no safety distance towards the dolphins. So I saw the necessity as well to set up a dolphin awareness program called Care for Dolphins.
Yes.
And so we invited locals for our trips. We took them out. We went to schools. We went to the government, to the Red Sea Rangers. We were in contact with HEPGA, the local NGO here, to really spread the code of conduct and also about the dolphins, the marine life, to get it kind of managed here. And then I understood, okay, we also need an NGO actually to get fundings, to get a bigger audience as well, because we were traveling. I also traveled to other countries, to expeditions, to conferences. So it was very important to have an NGO, Dolphin Watch Alliance, which is supporting the projects here,
Care for Dolphins,
and the Dolphin Watch research. But we also support other projects in other countries. So it's kind of an international NGO. And this was always my goal, because these problems or the solutions we look for are also very important for other countries, and to cooperate with other universities, with other organizations, so we can find actually a worldwide
common best practices
exactly
and how they would differ from one area to another, one climate to another, for example.
Exactly.
And what would you say? I remember we had a discussion once, and you were talking to me about how special the dolphins we have here in the Red Sea are. What makes our Red Sea dolphins special, or more special than other? I mean, I don't want to say they're more special than other dolphins, but what makes the dolphins here special?
I would say it's a really unique place here. First of all, the coral reefs. The coral reefs here are amazing. We are not so affected by the coral bleaching, for example, which is a big threat worldwide. So the corals here are really healthy and quite of tolerant against higher temperature. So this is first like, wow, here in the Red Sea, this is unique compared to other coral reefs in the world. And second, your question, actually, the dolphins really need these reefs here as well to live in. So the coral reefs, if you look at the shape of them, how they are created, it's kind of a big bedroom for them. So they really use these reefs as shelter when they are going for hunting in the deeper sea during the night, and during the daytime they use here the reefs for sleeping, for mating, for socializing. And these dolphins here, they come here, so you will find them on a reef as they need this place. It's their bedroom.
Their shelter. Yeah,
it's a shelter. And they are so tolerant, so friendly, actually, that the special thing is really, it's kind of, every reef is kind of a home for them. And we have the chance to observe them here and being with them for the whole day actually on this reef. Normally you have them traveling. They go along the coast. They also sleep. It depends on the dolphin species, as we have around 38 dolphin species worldwide. Here in the Red Sea we talk about 9 dolphin species. Wow. But here in front of Gounie we have the Indo-Pacific bottlenose dolphin and the humpback dolphin, which is an endangered species.
Is that the one they call the false killer whale, like in a...
No, the false killer whale is bigger. The false killer whales are more offshore. Okay. So you don't see them really close to reefs. Sometimes they come, but this is very rare. Yeah. And they are 5.5 meters. Wow. They're also here, but they are not residents. So here we really talk about the residents. Like also the Gounie, almost the Gounie residents here, the locals.
We've got our Gounie dolphins.
Yeah,
right here.
and actually there is also a dolphin called Safi.
Yes,
by the
I
way.
know.
You know that,
yes,
right?
I know.
So,
I can't wait to meet him or her or it one day. Yeah, hopefully
exactly. And it's really special as you can observe them the whole day. If they are not chased by boats, if you are very calm, if you give them the chance to approach you when they are deciding to come, because they're so friendly, and if they want, they come to you and you can actually be with them. So this is actually unique in the world. You have some individuals, for example, there in bottlenose dolphins, you have sometimes one which is isolated.
Okay.
And this one maybe is closer to humans, so spending more time with people. But this is not really the natural behavior you look for, because actually dolphins are very social. They live in fusion societies, like coming and going.
Yeah.
It's kind of we are not always in the same group. We also have different friends. We meet them maybe twice a week or once a month. So it's like dolphins. So you never see exactly the same dolphin group.
Wow.
As they are switching overnight when they are hunting. The next day, maybe 4 of 20 are still the same, and the rest goes maybe to another reef to sleep. So this is also very interesting, you know, how long they are staying. But we see they meet all the time again, maybe every third day. Males
and the
are,
reasons why they would decide, hey, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're going to go hunting over there. Oh, that sounds great. I'll come with you guys today.
Exactly.
And then come back. Yeah.
Exactly. So we would love to know more about their hunting strategies in the night, as we don't have hunting data. The hunting data is missing. We have a lot of sleeping data, so we know when they are very close to each other, and swimming, like during sleeping, having one eye closed, and one brain side is sleeping at the same time, and the opposite eye of the sleeping brain side is closed. We know they are sleeping, basically. But a lot of people, and also even in other countries, they're not aware that these dolphins are sleeping, because from the surface, it looks like, oh, they're all together and they're traveling. Sometimes you have no chance to follow them when they are sleeping. Yeah. You're like, you're out of air almost, and they're just having the eye closed and sleeping, and they switching brain side after we don't know exactly when.
And then you jump in the water with them while they're sleeping, and it's the equivalent of you being in a deep sleep, and then someone's jumping on your bed all of a sudden and startling you out of sleep. You know?
Exactly, and this is what is unique here, that they have a bedroom.
Yeah.
And in other countries, it's not so structured how it is here.
They're more migratory in other places.
Yeah, they are residents, but they are not using reefs, kind of. You have spinner dolphins in Marsalam, Hamata. They are also having a same daily lifestyle, like the Indo-Pacific bottlenose dolphin, and in Hawaii. Also the spinner dolphins. Also they use atolls in the Maldives. They also have these atolls to sleep. But here you really have these reef structures and islands that the dolphins are using, and you have a big chance to meet them. And they are, if they want, you can have an amazing encounter with them. And this is
life-changing even. Yeah.
Very, very rare compared to the world. And this is what I try to explain, that even having all these film teams here from all over the world.
I think, yes, you've had Planet Earth, you've had the BBC, you've had CNN film with you.
The Disney, Nature, and everyone says the same. It's like one of the best hotspot actually of dolphins, being so friendly and close to humans in a way. Interactive. You cannot find it anywhere else, and that's why it's so special. You cannot sell something like that for 15 or 20 euros. This is like you have kind of a 5 or 7 star menu, and you sell it for a hamburger.
Speaking of that, that's a great point. Has there been any research done? Is there data? Is there a quantification of something like the effect of a single dolphin on our tourism economy? Have we been able to quantify that in any way?
There are a lot of research done also in Hawaii, in other countries. Here we have, of course, we also analyzing the data over the years. So when I started 2009 in Hurghada, I was more around Giftun Island and coming here sometimes, but the data over the years now show really kind of a correlation with number of boats and presence of dolphins. So in certain areas which we were promoting as a dolphin, an important marine mammal area, you could really see that when it got very, very busy with boat numbers and a lot of boats went out, that the presence of dolphins declined. And this is very clear in our data for certain reefs, which are very important for sleeping areas and meeting points, because they really meet.
Hotspots for them, yeah.
Exactly. And this is very clear that a proper management needs to be done for these areas. And also on front of Gounie, like Cote El Dir, Bayut, this big lagoon, actually the dolphins really like this. If you look on the map, it's kind of very shallow. So Bayut makes it, also it's protected by current, I would say by rough sea. So it's quite of shallow when you go out of the marina. And you have Schabeldier as well. So it's kind of a huge bedroom. And the dolphins really travel during sleeping between Bayut, Cote El Dir, from Cote El Dir to Schabeldier is their sleeping route. Wow. So actually the whole area is their bedroom. And we have to be aware when we go out with boats that we have to be very careful, especially also when they are sleeping full speed, because they also they hear all this noise, but for them it's also not...
it's part of the normal noise around them, it's not going to wake them up necessarily.
No, but collisions can be very, very dangerous because they don't know from where the noise is coming from. It's like when you're diving, you hear, a boat is coming, but you don't know if it comes from right or the left or behind. So there is a big danger for collisions, especially when they are sleeping. And now we have a mating peak. So the dolphins are very active between May and July. So the newborns, a mother is 12 months pregnant, and the newborns, when they come up, they need to breathe more often. So all of a sudden they pop up. Even the whole group is still sleeping. The mother comes a little bit up with a babysitter, like 3 meters, 2 meters up, but they don't need to breathe. So, but the baby does. And if a boat, for example, sees a group and, they're heading this direction and go full speed, of course you can kill.
Yes, guys, everybody please pay attention to the baby dolphins.
So especially now in this period, May till July, August, it's really... Dolphins mate the whole year. They're very active the whole year round, but May till July is high season, and you see them jumping sometimes, and especially later afternoon when they get awake. They are very even leapings, and you see jumps. So this is very active. Early morning and later afternoon, they're very active. But during the time between 8, 9 till 2 o'clock is their sleeping, main sleeping time. So we actually have here a big dolphin house on front of Gounie, which is not only particular one reef. It's like all the reef structure makes their bedroom.
So when we talk about our beautiful Gounie dolphins that are right here in our front yard, and we want to give a checklist for all the people that want to go out and enjoy their boating days out at sea, what would you say are the top do's and don'ts with regard to respecting and understanding the dolphins here?
First of all, it's very important when you go out, just be always attentive about marine life. Also, turtles coming up to breathe. Just always look around. And if you spot dolphins, slow down. Very important, not 10 meters in front of them, already 200 meters actually. When you see them, if you know, oh, dolphins are around 2 meters, 200 meters before slowing down, approaching them parallel, never from behind, never from the front, not encircling them. Always very, very slow. Sometimes when they travel, you can also go with the boat parallel to them with minimum distance of 50 meters. If the dolphins decide to come to the boat to bow ride, because sometimes when they are awake, they love to surf.
They love the slipstream and on the front of a boat, like the actions in the water is like a playground for them.
Exactly. Yeah. And they use it, especially when you go to one direction and it's their direction as well.
Yeah.
They can bow ride at 20-25 minutes with you because maybe you go exactly to the same spot
that they want
or direction
they
want, and they can save a lot of energy with that. It's kind of a taxi.
Yeah.
You are a taxi for them, basically. Sometimes they just want to surf, or even with the babies, they also need to learn how to bow ride. So sometimes the mom takes it for like maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds to bow ride a little bit,
and then
leave again.
It's like a little kid with the little wheels on the bicycle on the side.
Exactly, because they need to learn as well. Like a baby dolphin is till 4 years with the mothers, so the mother doesn't have another baby within these 4 years. Like, she's really for this one baby. Unfortunately, the mortality, like the death rate, is very high, almost 50% within 3 years. So that's why it's extra care for baby dolphins.
Yeah.
And they need to learn even how to clean themselves, which corals are good for their skin.
Yep.
Which sponges are good for their face.
The spa, how to go to the spa.
The underwater spa, exactly. And they need to learn which coral, because some corals are poison.
Yes.
Or very aggressive, like a fire coral. Yeah. And some other corals, what we find out and published as well, are antimicrobial, antibacterial for their skin. So they also using it as a prevention for skin diseases, or if they have wounds, they go through it. So they need to learn a lot. Like, we are in the jungle and we need to learn which herbs or plants are good for us. How can we survive? It's a process. And they also need to learn that. And this is called culture, tradition. So this knowledge is given further to the next generation.
Yes, it's passed on to generations.
Passed on, exactly.
And we need to learn as well. You mentioned that 9 a.m. till around 2 p.m. is their normal main sleeping time of the day. So if I'm heading out and we see dolphins, how do I know whether they're asleep or awake?
So if you see a dolphin group very tight to each other, swimming in one direction, a little like straight, but always in the group.
Yeah.
Coming up every 1-2 minutes to breathe.
Is usually at a slower pace, you'd say?
Yeah, it's slower, but still can be quite fast, but not jumping. This is sleeping. If they are all over the place, like jumping, and there's no structure, there is a subgroup, there is another group.
So they're active.
They're active, yeah. But even when they are active, always slow down.
Yeah.
Keep the distance, because they mate. Imagine they're having fun, playing, and a boat, bang, full speed, comes into them.
Yeah, of course.
So this is so important, the boat behavior, kind of following the code of conduct. And also, if you go into the water...
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. We covered the boat behavior. What about behavior in the water? When do I get in the water with dolphins? And when I do, how do I behave?
So actually, the sleeping is really, very vulnerable. actually, when they are very tied to each other. The best is when dolphins are sleeping, your boat is moored. You're observing the route. Normally they go in circles or they have their route if you observe them. You need to see, give yourself 5-10 minutes to see, what is the pattern of the dolphins.
So if we figure out that they're asleep, it's best not to disturb them, best not to jump in the water. All right, so if we realize they're awake and they're up for a play, so what's the protocol?
Keep the distance of 50 meters as well. Put the boat in neutral. Very important as well, shifting is the worst for dolphins. If you shift to speed and then slow or reverse, it's so loud on the water, it makes them really...
shifty, no pun intended.
Exactly, so they're leaving. So be always quiet. Try not to scream.
None of this screaming stuff and clapping for the...
exactly.
It's not what they like. Yeah.
Exactly, except they do bow riding. Bow riding and surfing, I mean, this is wonderful, they don't care. They have their fun. But if you see them far away and you approach, be quiet as possible.
And then inside the water, how do I
slide in the water. Don't jump in the water, because like a splash, when dolphins are fluke slapping, like with the tail on the surface, this is a sign of distress.
Okay.
It's a sign of display, like go away. It's not a welcome sign, actually. Sometimes they do it for other dolphins. Sometimes they do it when boats are approaching. They start to fluke slap.
So if the dolphin is slapping its tail on the surface, that kind of means, yo, back off.
Yeah, exactly. So slide in the water. Then try to not splash with the arms. Don't use your arms. Have your arms very tight to the body. The fins also try to not splash on the surface with the fins.
Yeah.
On the water. Approach very quiet and calm. And then let them
come to you.
If they want, they come and check you out. If they avoid you, they are very aware of you.
Yeah.
Then they're just not in the mood. They also don't, some dolphins, they don't want even to interact with any humans. They are dolphins, they are more shy. They don't want to have this connection. We need to respect them, how they are, because every dolphin has their own personalities.
I guess it's quite similar to dogs
humans.
Or even dogs. Not every dog wants to come and play with you.
Exactly.
Some dogs are kind of like, stay away.
Different characters, different attitudes, different personalities. And we need to respect that. And we have some top dolphins here in the area, like Laura with her calf Leah. Then we have Ferdinand with Farida, the daughter. We have some dolphins, they really like to be with humans sometimes when they are, like waking up and in the play mood. They really come if they want.
Yeah.
And other ones, they never approach you. So depends on which you are meeting out there.
So in the water, dolphin approaching, how do I behave? I don't touch them. You never touch a dolphin. Yeah.
You observe them. You can, if they go around you, you can also go around. We actually say, please don't free dive with them, because it's quite hard if they are sleeping. You would really disturb them. Or if they do something on the ground, like sponge rubbing or coral rubbing or play with something, we really see free diving makes the behavior stop.
Yeah.
Okay, we as a scientist, we want to have the whole behavior. So we are the best really to be with them is be calm, be quiet, observe. Be part of them if they come to you and interact with you. It's like kind of a feeling. They really get you to kind of know how you behave, in which mood they are. Open mouth means you are not welcome at all.
Okay, that's good to know.
So if a dolphin opens the mouth very wide,
best to get out of the water.
It's the worst warning sign.
Wow.
This is like, go out. We don't want to have you here. But that's fine. This is like how animals talk to you. Or the S position, they also can go into the shark position.
Yeah. It's
also a warning sign. If the dolphin does a S, something is coming. Oh, maybe it's the group of divers or it's something they don't like, and then they disappear.
And then they decide to go off.
Exactly. So they are signs you can actually really see, or if a dolphin comes, especially the males, in mating mood, full of testosterone, they want to mate.
They can be a bit more aggressive than
Exactly.
Than normal, yeah.
They also can come to a swimmer very fast, and in the last moment it turns.
They veer off to a different
This is
direction.
also to scare you. This is not like, hey, I'm happy to have
It
you
says,
here.
back off, excuse me, I'm having some private time.
Exactly.
You know, let me be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
with the Dolphin Watch Alliance, how can we as Goonies, or how can any visitor of the Red Sea help the NGO? You know, can we report sightings? Can we report, bad behavior from certain boats? How can we help you guys? How can we help the organization?
yeah, so the best is really to spread the word, the code of conduct, sharing. Even at sea, it's so important if you know about the code of conduct and you see another boat approaching. Talk to them, tell, hey, look, they are, like, the communication is very important. If no one says anything, nothing will change.
Exactly.
So very important, even if you're a boat owner, or talk to the captain in a nice way. Hey,
Especially talk to the captain. I think that would be the most
Yeah.
important, because that's where the information trickles down. That's when your boat captain goes and has a coffee at the cafe with his friends in the evening, and dolphins come up, and the captain starts saying, wait a minute, no, I was told that, this is how they sleep, this is how they mate. So this is how the word spreads, because unless, I think, there is actual on-ground, on-sea management and strict enforcement of rules to protect the dolphins, it's going to be down to the word of mouth and the educational word of mouth that, trickles down the pyramid to help everyone understand how to handle our beautiful creatures of the sea.
this is very important, and also the guide. The guide for example, if you say, okay, I go to a tour operator, what is the guide teaching? What is the guide? Which briefing does he do about the dolphins? Very important to choose a responsible tour operator. How does the tour operator promote it already? Like on the website already, you can find out, or if you are visiting the diving center or the aqua center, what do they say about the dolphins?
Yep.
So you can find out very easily what is the knowledge.
Is this an operation that clearly respects the environment and is respecting the code of conduct, or are they just, sort of like a fast turnaround, a quick tourism sort of operation?
Or even guaranteeing dolphins. You can never guarantee dolphins in the wild. I mean, sometimes they are not here, because also depends on the food. The prey they're hunting in the night, is food available here in the area or not? The conditions of the weather, are there big waves? So guaranteeing wildlife is never ever the right approach. And then also talk to the operator itself. The code of conduct, very important.
Is the code of conduct, sorry to interrupt you, is it available on the website?
It's available on the website. We also have workshop sheets. We go and also to other aqua centers.
dolphinwatchalliance.org.
Yeah, dolphinwatchalliance.org. On the website, you can download the brochures, the workshop sheets, posters about the code of conduct, and also read about our project, the research, which is very interesting about different topics.
Projects.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably go home and do that. dolphinwatchalliance.org. Follow them on social media and help them out in any way you can. Angela Ziltener, our local dolphin whisperer, thank you so much for all the amazing work you've been doing. Looking forward to even more amazing work from you. And thank you for joining us on the Gounie podcast.
Thank you so much, Sophie. It was very nice to talk to you about it. Thanks.
Pleasure. See you around.
See you.
Cut. There you go. Yes. All right.
Welcome back to the Gounie podcast, and with me today, a very special guest and a dear friend. We've got none other than Omar Khalifa with us here today. Omar, welcome to the Gounie podcast.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Omar, a long-standing Gounie. You've been here since almost day one. You've lived here for a while. Now you come and go between Cairo and here due to your work reasons. And that's what I want to start discussing. The concept of having El Gouna as your go-to place every weekend, every other weekend, having it literally become your second home. How do you see El Gouna as a second home for somebody that lives, in the city?
Yeah, actually, I think it's my first home.
Okay, even better.
Yeah. So I think, I'm not a big fan of long holidays, okay? So I work a lot, but I like to take mini breaks. So every 2 weeks, I have to go to Gouna for 2-3 days. Even if I'm gonna do nothing, just being there. It's where I feel home, free, Cairo is very stressful, as we all know, and life there is very fast, very, very, very like routine. Like you wake up early morning, work out, go to work, pick up the kids from nursery or school, whatever, and then it's just like you don't get the time to do whatever you want. So Gouna is where I just go, have my space 2-3 days, and then go back to Cairo 2 weeks, and then Gouna again. So I've been doing this for like the past 7-8 years,
And before that, how long did you used to live in Gouna for?
I lived in Gouna for 3 years.
Okay, between
2011 till 2014. That was right after the Jan 25 revolution. This time was very challenging for me. I was at the peak of my business. At that time, I had a publishing company. Then things went very wrong after the revolution, and I wanted to escape. And I remember it wasn't a decision. I was going to Gouna just for a weekend, and then I was like, I'm not going back.
Yep.
And I didn't go back.
Yep.
It's just like this. It's not like I took my stuff and went and had it all planned. I just came here. For some reason, I felt very like I need to be here for a long time. And I remember the first year, I didn't go back to Cairo for a single day. I was very down that time because, as you know, it's very tough to be like doing well in the business and then something completely out of your hands just brings it to the ground. So it was a tough time, very challenging time. But Gouna was able to make it feel much better.
It was a sanctuary. And you hear that same phrase so many times. I came here for a weekend and I stayed. I came here for a diving holiday and I stayed.
Yeah.
I came here to kite and I stayed. And speaking of people that stay in Gouna, there is one question that we ask all the guests on the Gounie podcast. And it's been very interesting because since we started it, so many different responses. I want to ask you the word Gounie. When you hear, oh, he's a Gounie or she's a Gounie, what's your impression of a Gounie in your mind? Because everyone we ask has a completely different view of what a Gounie is. So for Omar, what is a Gounie? What makes a Gounie?
Free.
Nice.
Someone being himself or herself, completely. You don't care about what people think, what people say. You're just doing whatever you're doing, how you feel. It's just you being yourself 100%. For me, that's simply.
Amazing. What a great answer. One of the best ones we've had so far. So back to business. You said you had a publishing company, but more recently, in the past few years, you started off this great initiative called Shaghalni, which I think in English would literally translate into hire me.
Yes, exactly.
So Shaghalni has been providing a lot of work opportunities. I want to know the story of Shaghalni, the idea, the concept, and where it is now.
The story was back then in university when I used to study, we used to get the top companies hiring us every semester. Like the university would organize an employment fair. We get the best jobs out there, and that's it.
This is for AUC?
This is for AUC, yes. And none of us really had a problem getting a job. However, I always thought that what about, the middle skilled? Or the blue collar job seekers or the gray collar. They represent maybe 80 or 90% of the workforce. And there was nothing back then.
Not a single platform.
No, they just, they just apply using traditional methods through newspapers and all this. And that was a very hectic method both for the job seekers and for the companies to be able to filter and screen and everything. So that's how the idea of Shagani came through, and we started it by doing it online.
Okay.
Which was 5-6 years later proved to be a big mistake.
Interesting. So when you started online, it was just a website. People would log in, apply, upload their CVs, or click on the jobs, etc.
Yeah, it's the typical that you would do at that time.
Okay.
Everything's going digital, and then you're doing everything digital, and it just made perfect sense. But then 6 years later, it didn't work out. The wake-up call was the COVID-19.
Okay.
Because when you do something online, you want it to be scalable, you want to be user-friendly, all of this, but to have a very good platform, it's very costly. But you, at the same time, have to make sure that employers are willing to match your expenses, and even so you can make money. And the model just didn't work. There's a hole in the loop. So you can match make, but then you don't know what happened to the job seeker, I need to know if this job seeker ended up finding a job or not. So once things go offline, so for example, an employer would just contact the job seeker, we know nothing. And I realized by time that employers aren't happy.
Yeah.
They didn't renew their subscriptions. And when we kept asking why, is that because simply they don't care if they can unlock 500 profiles, but if they're going to hire only 5, then that's nothing, So
it was basically, so just to try and understand it more, so it was the equivalent of opening up a food ordering app, and then you place your order, and then you have no way of seeing what's happening to your order. Is it being delivered? Is it being picked up by the courier? Is it on the way, etc., etc.?
And you might not even ever get it,
Okay.
So when we dug deeper into the problem, and we spoke to the job seekers themselves, because the job seekers are very sensitive, okay? Yeah. So we realized that most of them, the reason why they don't go to the interviews after they get a job is that they don't want to spend money, transportation costs, and at the end of the day they might not even get the job and might not even be real.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of fake brokers online. They make a lot of money from the job seekers. It's just
that's a business,
It's
pay
a
me
business.
X and I'll give you access to all these other
and
companies.
they don't, even they pay for the application fees and then they don't. It's like, for example, you open admissions for the school and you have to pay X amount for applications, and the school already knows that there's no place anyway, but they're just collecting applications. So that's what they used to do. And that hit our credibility, any company that's working in the recruitment field. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna screw this online thing, I'm gonna keep it, but I'm gonna go all in brick and mortar.
Okay.
So I'm gonna build hiring centers where it's gonna be like a one-stop shop where job seekers will go, find everything. They'll find the jobs, they apply instantly, for the interview, and they do an interview in the place, and they leave either with a job or with a training or with a perk, it's like a center, everything, all your dreams could come true,
Wow, so it's like in a country that has a more advanced welfare system. It's like a job center, an unemployment center,
yes,
where you can go and see what's happening.
Yes.
Here are my skills, or what skills can you teach me, and what access to jobs do I have? That's amazing.
Exactly. And we started our first center in Soheg.
Okay.
That's so why Soheg? Because Soheg is 2.5 hours away from Gounie, by the way. It has one of the highest unemployment rates in Egypt. Very underserved, but huge potential. And till to date, that's like 3 months after we've launched, we already hired 200 job seekers from Soheg. Hired.
Wow.
In
different companies across the country.
Different companies. Actually, most of them in the Red Sea.
Nice.
Which is great because the salaries in Upper Egypt are very low, and we focus on getting decent jobs, not only any jobs.
Yeah.
So the decent jobs are mainly in coastal areas, touristic areas like Gounie, and actually several restaurants hired from
Amazing.
us. Yeah. They offer accommodation, salaries that are above the minimum wage, medical insurance, social insurance, everything, So that's what, and that got business done,
I think, do you think it's part of our culture that a part of our culture is resisting the technological side of things? Like, most of the people I know, they don't want to order through an app. They'd much rather speak to someone on the phone. So do you think that has a part to play?
I think so. I think it's just human that you would always trust something physical in front of you than something digital.
Yeah.
That's 100%, And that's what happened. I mean, we didn't change our goal. Our goal was the same, to matchmake blue and gray collar job seekers to the latest jobs, decent jobs. But the way we did it changed completely. It's much more impactful and effective. So now we've signed with Orange.
Okay, amazing.
To have like, as a first phase, 18 of their branches will be utilized as mini hiring centers. And we're building our a main center in Cairo.
Amazing.
So it's just a game changer.
So it started with Suhaig as the first brick and mortar, and now not outsourcing, but utilizing and partnering up with other shareholders, and then hopefully one big center in Cairo.
Yeah, so we can scale up quickly.
And tell me a bit about the experience from both sides. I mean, we just discussed maybe the experience from the job seekers side.
Mm-hmm.
So as an employer, you mentioned some people from Gounie hired. The website, it's got like, I need a waiter, I need a plumber, I need an architect, I need et cetera, et cetera. How does it work from the employer side?
So basically they contact us first. We need to make sure that their jobs are decent. Okay, so that they have all of, they offer jobs that are above the minimum wage, offer medical insurance, social insurance, accommodation, everything. Once they pass this, we ask them for the assessment form. What do you want from us to do the interview on your behalf? Because we're going to be doing the interviews, not them. The first interview. So when they send us this assessment form, we start immediately, and then we send them the candidates that are already carefully vetted to them, and they just like call them for a second interview, and that's it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's just like some people literally go to the center jobless and leave an hour later with a job.
Because I think that would probably one of the biggest responsibilities on you from both sides is to make sure the employer is legit and make sure that the employee is legit as well. You know, so
it's a win-win.
Yeah, بالظبط.
Yeah, because you don't want to hire someone, then he would leave or she would leave a week or 2 weeks after. We want this guy to stay at the job. I want the employer to be happy, because that's when we're going to be happy.
What about big employment fairs?
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys looking into that at some point? Or I think you've conducted some form of fairs.
Yeah. Actually, they are very impactful, very impactful. However, the cost of organizing the fair is increasing big time. And having a center is like having an employment fair all year round, every day.
Exactly.
So you have access to new jobs every day. You can go to the center, find different jobs. So we're going to stop doing employment fairs, I guess, because it doesn't make any sense to make more fairs unless we have something very specific. But we're going to be utilizing our hiring centers as much as possible, of course, because they serve their purpose big time.
Wow, no, best of luck with that. It's been a great job you guys are doing.
Thanks.
So from the rat race, I kind of want to move into the fish race a little bit, because Omar, you're probably one of the most decorated Egyptian anglers out there at the moment. You've been fishing for a long time. I think you hold quite a few world records angling. And you started out a fishing school mainly for the mini Goonies, our Gounie grommets, as we say. Tell us a bit more about your passion for fishing, how it started.
Yeah, so I was always passionate when I was a young kid, like maybe 7 years old. But none of my family members enjoy fishing. Okay. I don't know how or why.
And you used to come to the Red Sea a lot as a kid.
Yeah, as a kid. Yeah, it started in Nile, and then Mediterranean, and then Red Sea. But Red Sea I fell in love with when I was very young. And then I used to go out with the friends and rent a boat, go out fishing. But then when I lived in Gounie, I was able to practice it.
Yeah.
And as you know, like fishing is a very secretive hobby, so it's not easy to know where the fish is, even if you ask people.
It's very secretive and it's very superstitious.
Yeah, no one, when I came, I didn't know anyone. And then I used to rent this rib with no navionics, no GPS, nothing. And I would ask, where can I catch this fish? Where can I catch that fish? And no one would tell me. They would say, like, for example, it's in the south. But where in the south?
That direction.
So, I taught it to myself, basically. I used to take this rib with no GPS, nothing, single engine. I would go everywhere. I'd go to Shidwan, no network. I would go to the other side. I would do everything, to follow my passion. And I did catch amazing, memorable catches, But that's how I learned fishing. And then I didn't know it was actually a competitive sport.
Yes.
Until 2013, when I realized that there's the Egyptian Angling Federation and it's very competitive and everything. So I started representing, I contacted Gounie, and we have a Gounie fishing team.
Yep.
And then we started our first team, and then we started to compete, and we started to climb up in the rankings and win. Until in 2018, I was so fortunate to represent Egypt in the World Championship in France.
Nice.
And that was the start of everything big after. So
what's the highest ranking that the Egyptian angling team has achieved so far?
So actually, Egypt won the World Championship in 2010. It was in Gounie before. Yeah. And if I'm going to talk about our achievements, we scored third place in South Africa International Tuna
IGFA,
competition. Yes. And then
was it a yellowfin?
It was a yellowfin. It was amazing. I think it was the best tournament I participated in.
And I think anyone listening that might be interested in fishing, as soon as you have a yellowfin on your line, that's probably one of the most addictive feelings you'll ever get to experience.
It's addictive. And it was very challenging because fishing in South Africa is hardcore. It was in Cape Town. And the fishing area is 40 nautical miles out. So that makes it like 2.5 or 3 hours into the sea before you start fishing, and then you have the fishing, and then you go back 4 days straight. And it was a 30-pound line class tournament, which means that the fight would take a minimum of 1 hour up to 3-4 hours, you know. So it was amazing. It was very challenging. It tests your angling skills and everything. And it's crazy, like when you go there, you see like little kids, it's their culture, you know, the sport, women, men, no matter the age, it's just in them, and it's proper hardcore fishing. So yeah, I mean, I represented Egypt in 4 World Big Game Championships. I would happy say I was top 10 in 2 of them. And the other 2, it was actually, I think it was off season. Maybe we weren't very lucky. I still have a lot of goals in fishing. I mean, there's so many things to look forward to, but my dream is to bring gold one day to Egypt if I have the chance, hopefully, and to continue breaking world records.
Nice. Speaking of these records, I think you've got 9 IGFA records. The IGFA is the International Game Fishing Association. How did they happen? Were they all angled here in the Red Sea? And what makes a record-breaking fish? Because it's not a size thing, or it's not necessarily a size thing, is it?
No. So the IGFA has been there since 1939. So it's the oldest and it's the main authority for world record keeping in the world. And
it's like the FIFA of fishing.
Yeah, it's the FIFA of fishing. So in 2019, 2018, I realized that not a single Egyptian had a world record.
Although probably so many records
happened in Red Sea. Yeah. And it was just a lack of awareness, because most of us caught fish that would, that could be world records, but we never submitted it. So I was like, no, I have to submit a world record. I have to go after one. And then I started filtering what we could target. And then the first world record was a black banded trevally.
Okay.
It's type of trevally. It looks exactly like an amberjack, but it's very aggressive. And it was a 3.3 kilogram fish. And this was the first ever. I caught in 2020. This was the first ever world record by an Egyptian in the history of the IGFA. Yeah. The point here is that the significance of it is that, that was the first, okay? 17 other world records took place since 2020 till today.
It's so
from other anglers.
You opened a little tap and you made people realize,
awareness.
Wait a minute, there's a process, and if you follow it, then, you're
so then it starts to have like this competition, and you start to target the fish you want. And the good thing is that you're not competing with someone only from Egypt. You're competing with someone from Japan, from Australia, from the US, because we have a lot of species here that are common.
Yeah.
So it just makes it more competitive. It brings a very interesting angle to the sport. And as you said, it's not about the size, the significance, and the line class.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't use just any line. The whole point of it is to have like a fair fight between the fish and the angler,
And some fish, part of making the record, like a giant trevally, for example, it's usually on a strict catch and release basis. So you catch it, you document it, you weigh it, you take your photo, and it goes back into the water.
Yeah, we do a lot of catch and release, even not for world records, even for fishing. Yeah, yesterday I was lucky enough to release a sailfish.
Oof, beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
ظهر شدوان, behind
No,
شدوان.
Safega, but look, even you can see here.
Yep.
From its bill.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like a trophy fish. But yeah, we do a lot of catch and release.
And how important is the presence? Because I think in Gounie, we just had our first ever IGFA tournament last year with Red Sea anglers. How important is it to attract all these international fishing associations for the economy of El Gounie, of the Red Sea, and to promote the concept of sport fishing as a way to, improve environmental awareness and improve fishing awareness?
Great question. So the thing is that how I personally see it is that this angle is very underestimated in Egypt. Okay. You don't know how many people would come to Egypt just to fish swordfish, sailfish, giant trevallies, yellowfins. It's crazy.
And they'll happily put them back in the water, but just fish them.
Yes, we just need to put regulations. Okay, so if you leave something without any regulations, it's gonna get abused, like anything. We have a lot of bluefin tuna in Dumyat.
Yeah.
Okay, Damietta, and it was not regulated. And the result is that it's gone. You can hardly catch any there.
Wow.
Because no regulations.
And a proper healthy bluefin tuna in places like Japan or Canada, these get sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars per fish.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the thing is that you should put like strict rules, strict regulations. It doesn't have to be all catch and release. You can just, there's a saying in the US, it says, limit your catch, don't catch your limit.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we want to catch fish, we're going to catch, But the thing is that you can just land one and then release the rest.
Yeah.
So getting back to your question, if you look at Costa Rica, for example, Costa Rica is a hot spot for fishing. They have a very strict catch and release policy. And it's a multi-billion-dollar thing.
Yeah.
Multi-billion.
You apply for your license. The license is applicable for a certain season. You're allowed X amount of fish per season, and different countries have different rules.
Yeah. So can you imagine how many fishing charters are there? And how many authorized distributors of the engines and the spare parts of all these boats, and how many job opportunities created because of this. All this is underestimated. Yeah. So when it comes to sports fishing, no. I mean, Mexico, Cabo San Lucas, Cabo Verde, Australia, Florida, all these areas.
The Caribbean as well is a bit of a hotspot. Philippines, I was there. They're not as technically advanced as the other areas, but I remember in the Philippines, I had to pay a 1-day fishing license.
Wow, yeah.
So, the government gets a fishing license per day. You pay for the boat, you pay for the captains, you pay for the food, so you pay for your hotel room. So as an industry, it's actually huge, and I'm glad that El Gounie finally had its first IGFA tournament, and I think there's more to come.
It was amazing, and there's more to come, and these people are going to come again. Speak about the Red Sea, because the Red Sea is beautiful. Beautiful. I'm not just saying this because I'm, biased towards it, but I fished in so many areas. Fortunately, I can safely say Red Sea is very unique.
And let's be honest and real for a second. Unfortunately, in the Red Sea, we suffer from a lot of illegal fishing and trolling. And as anglers, we take it upon ourselves to, as soon as we see them out in the water, we report them.
Yeah.
So the more and more responsible anglers you have out there, the more sports fishermen, then I guess that will sort of battle all the negative fishing aspects that are happening.
The thing is that you need strong monitoring and reporting, and it's no secret that the Red Sea is overfished, unfortunately. Again, it's because of the lack of regulations and the lack of reinforcing the law or the rules, But I mean, you should put and that's we're hopeful of doing, is to have like what they do abroad. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Catch limits, size limits, seasons, everything.
And serious monitoring.
And we'll be happy to volunteer.
Yeah.
I don't want a single penny.
Yeah.
But I just want that we see regulations, we see people are following them, and that's it. And this way we can maintain the job opportunities. We can we can maintain, you know, the tourists that are coming for fishing, because all this is not monitoring. I mean, we don't know how many tourists come for fishing, but there are a lot, because you know you can't, it's unregulated, it's irregulated. So you can you don't know how many boats are going from Hurghada Marina, from Gounie, or from other areas in Marsa Alam or whatever for fishing. It's very hard to, like, you know, monitor this, but if you know, I'm sure it's going to be a big number.
I'm sure too. Now, moving on to the future of fishing, because you also started out a school, I think, called Strike One.
Yes.
To teach little kids to fish. And I'm sure somebody's watching right now saying, wait a minute, maybe my kid might be interested to learn. How does it work? You know, for somebody who has no idea about fishing or angling, how does it work?
Yeah, actually, we're working now with the Gounie. We'll hopefully be launching something soon together with Red Sea Anglers and Gounie and Strike One. This will be a school where we want youngsters to grow with the idea of ethical angling. You know, not the joy of the fish, of the sport is the fight, it's the battle. It's not actually to eat.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
so that's what you want to instill in them when they're young, and to get the sense of the sports side of it. So when you catch, for example, when you find, like, if you can get a child and you would make him practice with 20-pound line, and when he catches a 10-kilogram fish, he's gonna feel the challenge, or she's gonna feel the challenge, and you're gonna lose a lot, and then you're gonna land one, and that's when you feel the reward. But when you teach them that, just catch a fish for the photo and that's it, they're gonna use any line, and this way you lack the sport, you lack the technique, because a lot of fundamentals in fishing you're not gonna learn unless you lose lighter lines. Okay, so that's
it's like learning to drive because you want that photo behind the wheel, as opposed to actually learning how to race and the lines, etc.
Exactly. So that's what we want to do. We want to teach them how to take care of the sea, what to not to throw in the sea, how to release the fish. You know, because not any fish could just be released this way. Sometimes there are procedures. You know, so that's what you want to instill in them, to take care of the environment while enjoy their hobby or their sport.
Might we see a Gounie Junior fishing championship soon?
I'm sure, 100%, no doubt.
I think that would be great. Like, even if it's like, you know how we used to have it in school, you have the varsity team, like the older boys, and then you've got the middle school boys, and then the young. I think it would be great.
Yeah.
Now,
100%.
Staying on the water, but this time we're putting the fishing rods away and we're getting on the boats, because you organized, I think, Gounie's first ever boat show last year. Tell us a bit about the boat show and where do you think the boat show should go and how it can get there.
Yeah, so Gounie boat show, I mean, okay, let's agree it wasn't an innovation, you know. I mean, it was an idea so many people had before, and we felt that it's needed in Gounie.
Exactly, because Gounie should be a place where we have a giant international boat show, like Dubai, like Dusseldorf.
Exactly. It's the biggest marina in the region, in Gounie, okay? At the same time, you know, the buying and selling market is very like defragmented.
Okay.
If you want to buy a used boat, you don't know where to go, where to ask, who to ask. Anything. So we felt that, okay, we need to do a Gounie boat show, take it slowly, and that's how I like to do things. You know, I don't like to do things very big at the beginning. I think I would like to start something small, on a smaller scale,
and grow with
take
the
the
flow.
trial and error, you know, test the market, and then grow. You know, because you want to grow on a solid ground, and that's what we did. So year after year started to grow. I want to be honest, of course, that a Gounie boat show, we want to be a big international event and everything, but we cannot compare it to other markets because the purchasing power is completely different.
Of course.
So here, I mean, if you go to the marina and check, or if you ask, you know, the entry level boat for everyone is around like I would say the 21 to 27 foot.
Yeah.
You know, it's like either a rib or a small, like a small speedboat. So that's where the hot spot is. Okay. And then you have, you know, the medium size, I would say like the 40, 50 foot, and then you have the big ones. But the big ones, let's agree, in Gounie or in our region are limited, you know. So the Gounie boat show, the good part of it is that it helped a lot of local manufacturers, and Egypt has been doing great in manufacturing local boats, especially after the devaluation, which came to an advantage for those manufacturers because I mean, if you're gonna buy a boat for like $60,000, it's gonna make like a lot of Egyptian money. But if you have a local manufacturer here who's give you, I wouldn't say the same quality, to be honest, but I would say 70% of the quality, but for like $20,000.
And it's not just a little less quality, but it's a little less quality with more Red Sea know-how.
Exactly.
Because these boats are customized for our environment, our waters, our waves, etc., etc.
Exactly. So what we did is that we attracted them, as well as international brands, of course, but they have a huge market and huge demand. And we when they joined the boat show, we matched it with flexible payment methods.
Okay.
So can you imagine, for example, I mean, the decision to buy a boat isn't very hard anymore. If you're gonna buy a boat for like $15,000 or $20,000 and you have flexible payment methods, and don't forget, this boat you can rent it out.
Yes.
You know, so that's how
it's an investment. It's an investment.
Yeah. So I mean, you can make actually good money from the boat.
Yeah.
So it helped a lot, and it grew definitely big time. Last year's event, we had like 70 brands exhibited, and actually a lot of the exhibitors sold boats.
Nice.
In front of our eyes, you know, and expensive boats.
Nice teaching.
Yeah, you know. So this year we're gonna do it at the Gounie Conference Center.
Incredible.
Yeah. And not at the parking area anymore.
Yeah.
It's like we got promoted, you know. So
hopefully next year we'll move out to the sea.
Yeah, so it's like we're gonna have it in both, you know. Yeah. And we're gonna have actually some boats at Fanadir Marina.
Very nice.
So it's growing every year, and I'm honestly very proud about it, very happy about it. Very impactful as well, because it became an important event for the local manufacturers. When you speak to them, they look forward to this event. That's where they sell people, and they sell boats to you know, highly influential people. I mean, you get a lot of big businessmen in this show, and they buy local brands and everything. So it's amazing. It's amazing.
Nice. And when are we expecting it to happen? Hopefully this year. So
yeah,
in case someone wants to get involved somehow.
Yeah. Towards the end of December, before New Year's. So if you have some money and you think of buying a boat, let's just save it. Yeah, save it till the end of the year, you know.
Speaking and circling back to Gounie, and the town's been growing. It's been growing exponentially in the past few years. I'm curious as to your impressions on the growth. Where do you think it's going to go, and what you would like to see in future Gounie?
Actually, Gounie, I mean, when you speak to someone who's been living here since a long time, I would rarely find someone saying, oh yeah, it's amazing now. You know, people always like, you know, how it was simple, small, you know, compact. But I actually, if you think about it, the more it grows, it has a different like charm.
Yeah.
And I like how it is. I think it needed a new marina, because everyone's going to a boutique. You couldn't find a parking space there, and became a year-round destination.
Yep.
It's not like just for the Eid or whatever. Yep. No, it became a year-round. So that's a very, very positive thing, because that makes businesses here grow as well, and more job opportunities. I always have this job opportunity thing in me, you know. So, but
#shagal.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I like how it's growing. I understand there is a lot of land inventory still that's going to be utilized. And I think, you know, the new marina, Fanadir Marina, it's going to create a lot of space for everyone. And yeah, I mean, what I would like to see, you know, consistency in what we're seeing. You know, we don't want to see like a sudden change in management that would change everything. Yeah. I want Gounie to always be somewhere where, you know, your investment is safe, where you're spending time the way you want. The culture is there, because, you know, Gounie has its own culture, you know, how clean it is, fresh air, everything, you know. We definitely don't want to see any sudden change in Gounie, you know.
And as you mentioned, somewhere where you can always be free.
Exactly. So we don't want to change that.
And on that note, Mr. Omar, may you always be free, and may you always be doing the amazing stuff that you're doing.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for joining us on El Gounie.
Thanks a lot for having me. Thanks.
And cut.